Welcome to the Health Revolution, the show that leads you to a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity through a sea of fads. We reveal the science behind the strategies that truly work. We explore physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery, the keys to an enriched life. See inspiring interviews with the champions who've conquered life's health challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest together. If you want to change the game, it all starts now. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we're excited that you are joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button because we want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show episode notes. Be very mindful of that because there is important information about today's episode. We want to welcome all new viewers to our show, also returning viewers. We are delighted that you are here today. We talk about all things the emotional resilience, the mental mastery, and the physical strength of the human body, the different components that allow us to lead an optimal life. And today we're going to dive into a conversation that we've not had here before. We're going to talk about emotionally starved sons and what dads can do. Now, this can be considered a hot topic. We know that mothers have had such an incredible impact on our journeys, but the emphasis hasn't been so much on dads. And so here is where we get a chance to dive into that. If you are a son, if you are a father, or if you do have sons and dads in your family, this is one that you don't want to miss this conversation. I'm delighted to introduce our guest today. She is an amazing woman who has got knowledge and receipts and expertise in the field of psychology and studies heavy on this. First, let's look at this. Let's get to know her. Meet Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, licensed psychologist, best-selling author, and powerhouse voice in the world of emotional transformation. With over 30 years in private practice, she helps families rewrite the stories that hold them back. Today, she's diving deep into a topic we don't talk about enough, the father-son relationship, and why it matters more than we think. Dr. Gloria shares how women and men move through the world with different emotional range and why fathers must learn to take emotional risks to raise stronger boys. Today, she is giving us the blueprint. Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here. So excited to talk about men and boys.
Yes. And, I'm curious, you've been in the field of psychology for over 30 years. What first drew you into the field, and what are some things that really you're homing in on these days that we're not paying attention to?
Well, I'm here via Calculus 2. I was a math major, wanted to teach math, and ran into a professor in Calculus 2 that faced the blackboard, filled the front blackboard with her right hand, erased with her left. You kind of get the story. And so it was a struggle to be successful in Calculus 2. I was on a roll, on a plan to finish college in 3 years with a 4.0. Calculus 2 disrupted that, so I immediately switched my major and my minor. My minor was psychology. It was just destined to be the path for me. And it happens in life. We run into roadblocks and we take a right-hand turn, and that's the path we're supposed to be on. And so I was supposed to be a psychologist, and it just took a little bit of push for that to happen for me.
And I'm fascinated by the fact that you are studying heavily on this topic of the relationship between fathers and sons, and we don't hear enough about that. We hear a lot of other things that we struggle with. But why this topic? Why does it matter?
Well, when I started my private practice after being a college professor, I had a friend who ran a preschool. And preschools, as you may imagine, are run by women, staffed by women. And so little boys are very active at the preschool level. So they stand out to the teacher, to the director. And I was sent a string of little boys to evaluate and basically see, well, what's wrong with them, right? Why are they so active? Why are they so busy? Why don't they want to sit in the circle and listen to the story? Right? Is because there's not a tree in the room. Put a tree in the room, let them climb the tree. They will be happy to listen to the sound. Evaluating was a mind blower for me. Because little kids are brilliant. They know so much. They haven't been exposed to so much of the external world that they have lost any of their natural brilliance, right? Little kids are naturally brilliant, it's their survival mechanism. So these boys taught me so much about what it's like to be not only a child, but to be a male child in this culture. And as I worked with them, their fathers started to put time on my calendar. So I went through a chunk of time, 7 or 8 years, where my calendar was filled with men. So I got pickled in understanding how men function and how they're raised and what are the emotional issues that they wrestle with.
So, how did you notice, or I'm curious, the growing interest in fathers to pick your brain to understand and have a better relationship with their sons? How did that happen? Was it that moms were like, "Hey, you need to talk to the psychologist," or like how did that organically grow, or how did it come to be that families were knowing that this was your area of study and expertise?
Well, as I worked with both the preschool boys and then with their fathers as well, you there's a natural experience that happens that you really do understand that little boys get treated very differently than little girls. So I dug into the research, and lo and behold, I discovered that boys come into the world with a broader range of emotional expression than girls. Now, I have to say that again. Boys come into the world with a broader range of emotional expression than girls. But by and large, boys interact as infants mainly with women. Now that's changing in our culture. There are many more men staying home and raising their children, but historically, infants have interacted with women, either mothers or the nanny or the infant nurse. And women are uncomfortable with the extreme ranges that the boy is capable of expressing. So if he gets excited and goes higher and more intense, mother does a little bit of discomfort. Her face may change, her body posture may change. She may withdraw a little bit. She might look away. Same thing is true with the lower end. Boys have a broader range of negative expression. And I said, infants are brilliant. That's their survival mechanism. All right. They have to read the environment around them. And so the boy immediately narrows his range of emotional expression. So it starts in infancy. And then when they start to walk around and become toddlers, we actually actively tell them not to express tender feelings. Boys are not supposed to cry. Boys are not supposed to play with dolls, right? Little girls can play with dolls and pretend to take care of an infant. Little boys are not to play with dolls, not to pretend to take care of an infant. So we rob our male population of the ability to access the full range of feelings. It is a shame that we do this to boys.
So I'm curious, have in your studies, has this gone historically throughout time? Because I'm wondering which came
Which
first,
comes first, right?
chicken or the egg with this.
Yeah, so it's actually adaptive. If you go back in history, all right, let's just take a caveman, right? I do not want my caveman crying and whining about having to head out with his spear and kill something for the rest of us to eat, right? I want him to be brave. I want him to be courageous. I want him to take risks. So, historically, across centuries, right, we have needed men to cut off the more tender aspects of emotion. I don't think we need it anymore. All right. We no longer carry spears to kill things to eat. We go to the grocery store and we no longer really send armies into the field. We push buttons, right? We blow people up by flying over them or by pushing a button and letting a rocket take care of them. So the future, particularly with artificial intelligence on the horizon, tells us that expanding the emotional range of the male will be critical to health and well-being.
When did you notice the shift happening, that there was a need for fathers to get more active, even if society has not caught up with your frame of thinking and with the approach that you're saying is it would be most helpful for families?
That is a great question. Because I didn't notice it when I was immersed in working almost exclusively with the male population. I noticed it when women started to move into the workforce. The interesting piece is that competition of both male and female in the workforce doing the same jobs leads to an emotional conflict that the male is not prepared to respond to. We've cut off access to the full range of emotions for a male. So the ability to express himself and to problem solve with a high powered female, he's at an extreme disadvantage. And so it's that change in our culture that brought all of this back up for me and caused me to take a deeper dive into the literature and to learn much more about what we know about boys, but it has not been translated from the research to the popular literature. So my goal is to translate it.
How much of society has put the pressure on families to really reconsider where things are right now? Mother, father, and then growing family. How much of that, when did society start to put the pressure on families to show up as best as they can, with dads needing to come forward and just really understand the bond between father and son?
Well, as women moved into the workforce, there was more emotional energy required from father. And father doesn't have the skill set to actually perform in that way. So he doesn't have access to the full range of emotions. I send to families lists of feeling states. I have 4 pages. There are, I think, 5 columns of feeling words. on each page. And the marvelous thing about our brain is that we never lose access to any feeling that a human being can experience. We just can't find it. But if you're reading through a list of feeling words, the feelings you're experiencing will just pop off the page. All right. So most men have a feeling vocabulary of maybe 4 to 6 words, right? Mad, sad, irritated, pissed, uh, things like that. All right. But tender, uh, excruciating, longing, those words are not going to pop out of a guy's mouth, but they're in his brain and he can recognize them, and then he can have a conversation or he can explore those feeling states with himself or with another person.
Which generation of men is feeling the challenges of not having a relationship with their dads the way that you advocate fathers truly introducing and truly embracing? Which generations or generation is really feeling the heat because of this?
I think all generations, kind of up to the present, teenage boys now have more access to feeling states than their fathers did. And I think that is a result of mother going into the workforce because that puts pressure on the teenager, male and female, to be more expressive because the time that I have to communicate my need is now much narrower. It's much smaller. And mother and father, all right, want to take a deeper dive into what's happening with their children so they can provide the resources that the child needs. We no longer have difficulty with our children seeing a therapist. And that's been a huge boon to changing the way that we feel towards expressing emotion and understanding the emotion that our teenagers are experiencing. So we're right on the cusp of this. But at the same time, right, because men really don't have access to the full range of emotions, there's much more conflict that takes place in the home. Divorce rate, they say, has dropped, but the truth is the divorce rate, the separation rate is still the same or increasing. The difference is that couples don't get legally married, so it doesn't show up on the court docket, so I can't number it. But the truth of the matter is that we still struggle to understand how to have a relationship with the opposite sex. And as we move forward, and as artificial intelligence gives us more opportunity to have time to interact with each other, we're really going to need to understand our own emotional development and to access different feeling states.
We've got a lot more to cover, and first we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there, we're coming back.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain, combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body, but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on, and so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that really calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about why boys are emotionally starving and what dads can do. Our guest today, Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, she is an expert in this area. And Gloria, before the break, you started to dive into some really unique insights into what's happening with men, how teenage boys are currently, there's some new tools that are out these days, therapy, that sort of thing. But I'm curious, what are some ways in which fathers unintentionally shape or affect the emotional growth in their sons?
So fathers don't realize how important it is to dive into the emotional needs of their children, even as toddlers. All right. I tell this story. This is a true story of visiting friends. My daughter's 3, their son is 3. The kids are playing. My daughter keeps his favorite toy. The boy tries to get her to give it back. She refuses. He gets up and he naturally heads towards his parents for help. But he's crying. She's just kept his favorite toy. He's naturally hurt. And it's all right for him to cry about being hurt, but his father whacks him in the chest. Kid lands on his butt. As dad says, stop crying. Now that's the attitude that we have had for decades, for centuries towards boys. You are not supposed to express emotions on the softer end of the continuum. And then we expect you to grow up, fall in love with a girl or a boy, right? Have tender feelings and be able to express them. You can't. You don't, all right? And that's why the divorce rate is at the 50% range or higher. We have robbed you of access to that part of your brain. It still exists. You can tap into it. It takes work to tap into it. It's not going to happen by magic, but it is critical both for your health. The reason men die younger than women by and large is because their emotions turn into heart attacks, intestinal problems. We die if we are not able to express emotions and make connections with other people. We're born connected. We have to stay connected.
So I can't help but wonder, the divorce rate being high, and then now you have a single mothers, single fathers out there, and the relationship that, say, sons have with their dads who their parents are divorced.
Mhm.
So what impact does that have? What role does dad need to have with his sons in particular?
By and large, dad is a very part-time participant in a child's life following divorce. And typically, it is a contentious experience for the adults, and the child gets victimized by that. So, we could go down that road. I don't want to go down that road. it's it's not a pretty sight. But it does highlight how important it is if you only have part time access to your children, how important it is that you educate yourself about how to be emotionally connected with them. All right. If you have a brief opportunity, you want to maximize the emotional connection, which means you want to learn how to do that and how to access the full range of emotions that you were born with, that's naturally yours.
Do you find that men who do become single dads, that there's this epiphany of, oh my goodness, I need to do my very best to have a relationship with my sons, my kids, my sons? Do you find that there's more of a growing concern? Is there a way for single dads to make sure that they're checking themselves, so they're doing everything they can?
There's been a significant increase in groups for men, and I think it is an outgrowth of the divorce process. All right, we all need connection. We're born connected. We need connection, and the expansion of these not only learning but group therapy, group types of activities for men where they take a deeper emotional dive into who they are is fabulous. All right. It's happening all over the United States. And it's very positive to bring men together to really understand how they're thinking, how they're feeling, how they're functioning, and to have a safe place to talk about relationships, the value of relationships, and the longings that they have, because they're human beings, right? We all long for relationship and connection. And if we can't get it with a person, we're actually nowadays getting it with AI, right? We're desperate for connection.
So, what role do, say, whether it's a divorced couple or a married couple, what role does mom play in supporting dad to have a better relationship with the sons without it being like coddling and in anything other than being supportive?
That's a great question, all right? Because women also have been fooled into thinking somehow that they're emotionally accessible. And really, when it comes to interaction with a male, they are not. They're much more accessible to their female friends. But let's have your husband come home from work, has had a very bad day, disappointed, something that he wanted to happen for himself professionally didn't happen. The wife naturally asks, "What happened?" Right? He gives a headline, a very brief headline. And do you know what she does? She goes, "Oh, it'll work out. All right. It'll be all right." No curiosity, no invitation to, tell me more. Let me shut down everything that I'm doing. I'll close my computer. I'll take things off the stove. We got to sit down and talk about this. Not happening. So women think that they're emotionally available, but they're not that emotionally available to their men.
That society is playing a bigger role in the whole picture, in that communication skills and
Absolutely.
communication tactics we're struggling, would you
Right.
say? And how big of a role is that playing in getting needs met this way?
Well, it's huge, right? And a part of that is that we don't understand ourselves. So, in order to be curious about someone else's internal life, I have to be curious about my own. I have to understand how to dig into my internal life. And that is that takes intention, right? It's the reason that I wrote the Read, Reflect, Respond book, is to facilitate a human being's ability to take a deeper dive into what's your emotional experience, what's your emotional history, how do you access your own feeling states so that you can share them with your mate. It's critical to be able to access.
And this is a great time to transition to read, reflect, respond, which I do have a copy here for our audience to see. Talk a little bit about what led you to write this and who is this for?
This is for anyone who's old enough to read. I wrote it for adults, right? Both men and women, so that they can tap into the wealth of feeling experiences in their brain. So these are essays. Some of them are silly, some of them are serious. They run the gamut across, memories from visiting a farm when I was a kid to research studies about development of attention. And so you read an essay, and unlike any other journal, in most journals, the facing page has lines on it. You're expected to write answers. The facing page in this book is blank. And it's blank for a reason, because your brain stores information, not just in terms of words, but in terms of actions and in terms of feelings. So the blank page gives your brain access to those other two storage bins, right? You can scribble, you can draw, you could just use an intense if you wanted, you could tear the page, right? You'll have to tape it back together to read the essay on the other side, but you get information about your own reaction to the ideas that are being stimulated by the essay. And you get your brain to open up into territory that you typically don't go. And that is mind blowing, right? We all need to be able to access the attic part of our brain, the places where we've hidden life experiences that are shaping how we interact with the world right now. And when we can access those, we can change the way we interact with the world right now.
I just want to highlight to our viewers that yes, I'm very fascinated by the journal aspect of having the facing page be blank, and that I see such a variety of different topics.
Oh yeah,
And
runs the
from,
gamut.
yes, from are you your own con artist to working with others baked into a cake. You talk about food you highlight some topics to explore, such as snow, kaleidoscope, grandkids, college bound, Thanksgiving, baking brownies, and when was your last physical. So I love the different areas that you get to explore. Computer history, aging, that's a big one, of course, and then Halloween. And so I see the level of exploratory playfulness that
That's right.
comes in here, and this is absolutely fascinating. What's been the feedback that you've gotten for this book?
I've gotten exceptional feedback. People are actually surprised at what their brain can bring out on the facing page. And they're grateful. I have gotten so many comments about how helpful it has been, and how they have uncovered pieces of themselves that they didn't realize were holding them back or causing them dynamic difficulties in relationships. It opens up your world. And that was the intent, all right? I want you to use that book to open yourself up and discover the places where you've put up roadblocks, where you are stopping yourself from getting the benefit of interaction, right? We're born connected. We need connection with
I
other.
don't. One subtopic: can you make friends with a fly? I don't know about that. I feel like it's swarming
I
with
love
flies. However, I think it's just very intriguing. Biscuits and gravy and kaleidoscope and what is your mission? And these are just obviously a ton of different. I love how each subsection is a completely different topic here. So a great way to connect with yourself. The other
Right.
thing, obviously, you've got a book coming up, and I wanted to bring it to
do.
our viewers' attention of how to not F up being a father, and talk a little bit about the premise behind this, and when can we expect this book?
You can expect it the first of the year, and this comes out of the work that I did with preschool boys and with adult men. I have kind of been percolating that information for quite a long period of time. And I just got driven to put it out onto the page in the last year or two. And I think the stimulus for that is actually seeing what is happening to our adolescents at this point in time. Adolescents are really losing the opportunity to benefit from relationship because they no longer engage each other directly. All their communication is through their cell phones.
Yeah.
All right. You'll see two teenagers sitting next to each other. They're not talking to each other. They're typing on their phone and they're communicating to the person sitting next to them. All right. This is mind blowing for me. And so I think that's what stimulated me to pay attention to. We have to make a change in the way that we raise our boys so that they can lead us forward and they can be in relationship with each other and with the opposite sex and with groups of people, and they can understand the variety of emotional needs that exist around that conference table and pay attention to it. So it has to start with raising your boy. It can't start in the boardroom. It really does have to start with giving your boy access to the full range of emotions that he was born with and validating those.
So the book is called How to Not F Up Being a Father. Obviously, it comes out the beginning of the year, the 1st of January 2026. And then, of course, we have the Read, Reflect, Respond book that this is already out in a variety of different online stores, Amazon and such. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We are coming right back. Stay put.
Welcome to Renew Laser and Skincare, where beauty meets technology. From laser hair removal and anti-aging treatments to facial sculpting, acne care, and injectables, our expert team helps you look and feel your best with customized, results-driven care. Located in Littleton, Colorado, we offer a comfortable, welcoming space and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. Visit renewlaserandskincare.com to book your transformation today. Renew Laser and Skincare, where confidence begins.
Hi, I'm Adriana and welcome to Fit Bites. Did you know that 67% of the workforce sits for 4 hours or more at a time? Sitting for long periods can take a toll on your body, increasing the risk of back pain, poor posture, weight gain, and even serious conditions like heart disease and diabetes. The solution? Move more. Stand up every 30 minutes and take a quick stretch or walk around. Incorporate simple desk exercises like seated leg lifts or shoulder rolls to keep your muscles active. Even standing while on phone calls or using a standing desk can make a big difference. Now, when you have time, add movement into your day with brisk walks, yoga, or strength training. Now, these activities can counteract the negative effects of sitting and improve your overall health. Remember, small changes add up. Your body is designed to move, so break up those long sitting sessions and stay active throughout your day. Stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana.
Our guest today is Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst. We are talking about how and why boys are emotionally starved and what dads can do about it. So, Gloria, I know that you've been a psychologist for over 30 years. You've got some serious skin in the game with understanding how we move in society and how we can grow. What are some different ways that you work with others who are either, say, someone who is interested in working with you, and what are some of your onboarding steps that you do when you work with families or others?
That's a great question. All right. I use two approaches to therapy that have excellent research bases to them. And one of them is called internal family systems. It has this idea that we all have a variety of different parts of ourselves, that as we interact with other people from infancy forward, we develop memories and experiences of those interactions that we store and could have access to if we want to climb into our mental attics and go looking for them. And it is a way of being able to take your life experiences and sort through them to find those that are holding you back, that have shaped particular attitudes or approaches to life that are not being productive for you, and to retrain your brain so that it has opportunity to make better connections. So that's one. And the other is called emotion-focused therapy. Both have significant research bases to them, and really appreciate that how we interact from infancy forward gets accumulated into how we interact in the present. And understanding our histories becomes a critical piece, not to continue to engage in that history, but to be able to release that history. So I don't have to think that way. I don't have to respond that way. I don't have to behave that way. I can make space for new ways of connecting and interacting with other people. So that's the essence of the work I do.
And do you have clients worldwide? Do you work throughout, obviously here in the United States? Do you work with others just near and far? What does that look like?
So I am licensed in both the state of Maryland and Washington, D.C., and I consult with people all over the world. You can find me through my website very easily. It's easy to make that connection, and I'm happy to consult with anybody, no matter where you are. And it can make a huge difference in how you function day to day.
And we have our QR code up for our viewing audience to grab. Let's see if we can bring it up one more time, your QR code. And in addition to that, I know that we'll leave this up here for a second. you have lent your voice in different areas of spaces. And so I'm curious, where are you looking to further lend your voice and share your message? Are there different groups and different areas where you speak? What does that look like for the future coming up?
Well, I am focusing on speaking to large groups and organizations. I am delighted to be a guest on your television show and hope to do more of those. And I am doing podcasts on a regular basis. So if you're out for a run and you have your headset on, you can listen to my wisdom.
Fantastic. We are going to take a quick commercial break. We are coming right back. We've been talking with Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst. She is a psychologist and author. We've got several of her books here. Read, Reflect, Respond is her first book, and she's got another one coming up. Gloria, where can we find you in the social media space?
Well, you could find me in all of those normal places, right? You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to my website, and that'll take you to a variety of other places. You can find me on Instagram, kind of all of the places that you go hunting. Well, you'll find me there.
And so, what do you have going on for 2026 in addition to launching your new book? What else do you have around the corner?
So, around the corner is definitely the book launch to help fathers do a better job of raising their sons. I will continue to do television and podcasts and also do speaking to larger groups, all right, particularly about the interface between emotional development and artificial intelligence, because we've got a surprise coming on the horizon.
Yeah, that's true. What you say about AI. I mean, it's already happening more than we realize. What is the one takeaway that you want to make sure our viewing audience has out of our conversation?
So I would hope that everyone will be curious about their relationships and their history and take themselves more seriously and dig into that history so that you can release some of the very early dynamics that currently jump into the present and make it more difficult for you to develop relationships, to solve problems at work, or just to be connected in the world around you. Understanding your own brain is critical.
Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, we appreciate you being here. Her current book right now is Read, Reflect, Respond. It is available on Amazon and other online stores. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Adriana. I've loved it.
And for our viewing audience, we just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We appreciate their support: Biomed Mobile IV, Dapper No Code, Launchpad, Renewed Laser and Skincare, Synergize Fitness, and we are also on the web. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. There you can sign up for our newsletter. You can also email us with any show episode ideas that you would love for us to cover. In the corner of your screen is our QR code. Feel free to grab that. And then, as always, you can find us on every single week, Tuesdays and Thursdays on E360 TV, the Orion TV channel on E360 at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and the ever-expanding distribution hubs as well. That is all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.